Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to part two of this episode for Disability Awareness Month. Today's group of people is another great group of people. Actually, all of them all have small businesses along with the disability. And as we heard in part one, March is Developmental Disability Awareness Month. Developmental disabilities are a group of conditions due to impairment in physical, learning, language, or behavior areas. These conditions begin during the developmental period, may impact day to day functioning, and usually last throughout a person's lifetime. Without further ado, let's meet today's guests. So let's start with Rachel. Hello, Rachel. How are you today?
Hello, Nathan. Thank you for having me here today. I'm Rachel Ferreira. I'm 27 years old, and I'm the owner of Disability Consulting. We are a disability training
Awesome.
agency, organization, and we work with families, different agencies throughout the community to bring disability training to the staff.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you for joining on the podcast. And business sounds awesome. Definitely need more type of those businesses too. With awareness. And next is a recurring guest, another one, Elise Noel.
Hi, Nathan.
A few episodes. Hi,
How's it
Elise.
going? Thank you for having me.
Good. Would you like to tell us a little
Sure.
about yourself?
I'm an artist. I'm the owner of Mini Masterpiece Accessories and more. I handcraft and custom make jewelry, rosaries, memorial items for lost loved ones, and canvas paintings, as well as whatever else my brain comes up with. Um, my disability is I struggle with mental illness to the point that I've had to go on SSDI. I have a general anxiety and panic disorder, clinical depression, mood disorder, PTSD. I also have a few learning disabilities. I have ADHD, dyslexia, and dyscalculia. So it makes my day to day very interesting. But that's what I do.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. And Jack, another recalling guest too.
Hello,
Welcome back
everyone.
to the
I hope you're doing
podcast
well.
episode.
I'm Jack Rafania. I'm the co-proprietor and co-owner of a family business called Mr. C's Old Time Scents, where we make candles, room sprays, carpet sprinklers, basically anything that smells good. I've grown up with Asperger's syndrome, which is part of the autism spectrum disorder. So that's been a lot. I've grown up with it my entire life. It's definitely made my life quite a bit challenging, but also quite a bit different. I don't think it's like a disability, more for it is like a difference of like thinking and stuff like that. Because there are times where I think it's helped me as well. So
Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Kathy. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for agreeing to be on today's podcast.
Thank you.
So, Kathy, why don't you tell us a little about yourself? What do you do? I know you have a small business, right?
Yeah. Nature photography.
And you have a disability too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that at all? Do you feel comfortable?
Yeah. I have some physical disabilities, emotional, mental, developmental.
So, what's the name of your business?
Kathy Goodmanson Photography.
All right. So, the first question I have is, what would you like society to know about you and or your disability? And anyone can start.
well, I mean, something that I would like to let people know about my life and my kind of sort of disabilities, because Asperger's syndrome is a very complex thing. A lot of people, there's a lot of like symptoms and a lot of things. I get the term nowadays. I feel like is thrown around a lot, and stuff like that. But I think like is that there's definitely a very specific thing to it. For me, the Asperger's syndrome comes with the kind of sort of like of routine stuff like that. It's more of insularity, sort of having trouble communicating with people with eye contact. Sometimes, I have a hard time articulating in the moment and stuff like that. And also like just general, sometimes like attention. Because I also have a attention deficit issue. So I have that, but it's really, it's called autism spectrum for a reason. It can vary from like the least functional, and I'm not trying to be degrading. I'm just saying like, people who can't say words to people who you wouldn't even tell when you begin with and stuff like that. But I want to let everyone know that all these people are capable of doing great things, even the lowest functioning autistic people. And I just want it's like there's a lot of stereotypes that come with it, like,
Absolutely.
oh, if you're autistic, you can't do public speaking, really, you're insular, stuff like that. But I feel like with the line of work I'm doing, where I'm going out into the field, interacting with people, not only that it really helped me learn a lot of social skills and unique ways that I can cope with Asperger's, and it's really, you can have good social skills while still having like Asperger's syndrome or autism spectrum disorder. It's just for me, I had to learn new ways to do that. It didn't come really natural compared to other people. But I feel like, yeah, you can do public speaking. You can do the things like that a lot of people think, people with is it autism spectrum, ASD, don't usually think, people usually think they're not good at doing. And I feel like that's one of the major things is like, while you might have to overcome unique challenges because of the specific disability you have, nothing is impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And for someone like me who also has autism, I'm not big in social settings and public speaking, but podcasting also I, has helped me with that too, because I get to talk to so many people now, and uh, it's a great practice. And I learned that I like speaking, like public speaking too, and I want to do more of it too. And you're like, Jackie, autism is a spectrum, and we have the low end and the high end, and everyone fits in. However, just like a spectrum is, you fit in that area, and everyone does great stuff no matter where you are in that spectrum.
I agree with Jack. Absolutely. 100%. Nailed it. um, what I would want society to know is that just because you have a disability, you're not less than. You're not to be looked down upon. You're to be respected just like everyone else. And it's best to come at things that you don't understand with an open mind and with some compassion and empathy, because just because somebody functions differently, has different hurdles to overcome, just because it's not like what's considered quote unquote normal or typical, it doesn't mean that you can't function in society like everyone else. It's kind of like what Jack said about it kind of being a benefit is because of my ADHD, I'm very, very creative. It's a coping mechanism to deal with certain problem solving issues. And it's interesting to see how our brains, like, they're so they're so amazing, the different mechanisms they come up with to overcome how we're different, so we can overcome challenges differently. And I think that's an awesome thing, and I think that's what makes us really beautiful and unique, and what adds to like the beauty of society. I think that makes us more special, actually, because it teaches other people that being different is okay and that it can actually be a benefit. I mean, how many people are creative because of these things, and they add so much like that other people would never think of. So that's what I'd want them to know. And I'd want people to be a little more compassionate in the way they approach people with things that they don't fully understand and actually want to learn.
Absolutely, all good points. And I wouldn't have said it any better myself. That you
Thank
did
you.
awesome. Explain, yeah, that was great. Rachel, what about you? What would you like people, the society, to know?
I, I say it all the time, and just like on my background, my disability does not limit me, but rather inspire what I have to
Yes.
offer. I really believe in that. I'm able to do what I do because I have a disability, because I have the insight and I'm able to take my life and my experiences that I had, and I'm able to share it with others to hopefully get the word out that people with disabilities can do anything they set their mind to. They just may do it a little different.
Yeah. Agreed. Yes. Yep. It definitely defines your disability, and it helps you explore what you want to do. Yeah. All great points.
I just like to go out like everybody does. I met some friends the other day, so I was really happy about that.
It's always nice to meet friends out in the community. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, especially you probably have similar hobbies, similar things you like to do, and nice, and you talk
yeah,
in person or online on the phone or something, right? Yeah, it's
yeah.
always nice. Cool. Did you have any obstacles in school? Do you have the same obstacles today?
I know for definitely when I was in school, I had trouble, like sort of reaching out to people or like talking to, trying to make friends and stuff like that. I was very insular, and I felt like I held myself like either I'd say some crazy things because or like not get people or also sometimes like I would hold myself too much like responsible for the things I said and like worry about a whole bunch of that. So I also felt like maintaining and like sort of building friendships were always like a not I it's not like I didn't have empathy. It's just like was very kind of like burdensome. I mean, not burdensome. I don't want to use that term, but like sort of like very energetically taxing because like I would always think about it, and that's sort of like part of my Asperger's syndromes. I tend to think about things a lot in a very specific thing. It's kind of like a stereotype that autistic people are very like hyper focused on specific things, but I felt like that hyper focus was a lot on like I would be like very hyper focused if I ever went to like social settings or stuff like that. That's why like going out into like places that had a lot of people, it would be kind of hard to mentally process because I'd be stuff like that. It would just be a lot of overwhelming kind of anxiety, kind of like that. And I feel like I've gotten a lot better at this. I still every now and then though, large crowds, I still kind of feel uneasy because there's just so much to take in and stuff like that. It feels like you have to process it. It just for me at least, it's really hard not to like get overwhelmed with that type of stuff. But I definitely had some coping mechanisms I developed, and I feel like of course of course you develop a lot of coping mechanisms no matter if you're disabled or not. But I feel like for me uniquely, I think one of the things was sort of like mindfulness and sort of like trying to think about the now instead of like everywhere else. I know what a lot of them saying is vague, but it's just like very hard to articulate, I'd say. But generally, finding those coping mechanisms will definitely help. I think anyone. I still face challenges today, but I just I now that I have the tools, yeah, I do have a lot of friends and stuff like that, and I do try to uh, hang out with them every now and then. It's been pretty. I still hang out with my high school friends and stuff like that. So
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah, same here. Yes and yes. I was highly impacted in school. Obviously, having a learning disability. I mean, having dyscalculia, like it's a math disability. People call it like the math version of dyslexia, which is a little inaccurate. But I struggle immensely with understanding concepts with numbers at all. Any kind of concept, it's a big challenge for me. And of course, the dyslexia, I can't spell anything well. I have difficulty reading and understanding what I'm reading. And of course, like with the ADHD, like I have social anxieties and like mood issues. Like I'll have uncontrollable emotions. I won't know how to process them. So that definitely gave me challenges learning in school. I had to have an IEP in place and special accommodations so I could learn, because I learn differently and more slowly than other people, and I have a bit of a processing delay. So whatever. And of course, then you had the anxiety, depression issues that kind of compounded things. So it made it difficult growing up, dealing like as you're going through puberty and, you know, getting all these new hormonal effects on your body and in your mind. Like it was a lot. It was very challenging. I've gotten more used to it as an adult, but of course it still impacts me on my day to day. But you know, you go with the flow and you do the best you can on your day to day and take it one day at a time. Like that's the best I can do, and you can't do better than your best. So yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I have a physical disability, cerebral palsy. The one getting around the school was challenging because not all schools are ADA accessible. I also had trouble writing and typing, but I was very smart. I knew the answer in my head, but I couldn't get it out on paper. So it was very frustrating because I would be like, oh, I get it, but I would go to type it or write it out or try to communicate it to my teacher, and it would just take forever. So one of the accommodations that I had when I was in school is that I would say about my answers, because I'm really good at public speaking and just talking to people. So with me talking, it was a good way for me to tell people the ideas I had.
I wasn't always in special ed, and then so that was kind of hard. But once I was in special ed, it was very helpful, like to have not just the teacher, but like teacher's aide, I think.
Yep, the teacher assistant. Yeah, having that support. Did you have like a one-on-one person in school? Like you always had that teacher assistant?
I think there were a couple, but yeah.
Couple, yeah. I had the same thing. I had a one-on-one, but I have like a two or three, especially in high school. They switched them out on me. But yeah, that's nice to have someone there to support you. Did you get any like other supports? Like, did they help you navigate to your classes or take notes or anything like?
They actually let me go 5 minutes early because I just had trouble getting through the halls with everybody, so
Yeah,
that was pretty good. Wherever I had to go.
5 minutes early. Yeah, and leave 5 minutes early for class. Yeah, that's always nice. Do you have like the obstacles you had in school? Do you have any the same today outside of school?
I think I have more.
More? any that you want to share?
I had forearm crutches in school from like 5th grade to, I don't remember, but a while after that, I kept going in and out of a wheelchair. So,
how was it to using the crutches versus the wheelchair? If you don't mind me asking.
it's okay. Wheelchair is easier.
Yeah, because you could probably get more places a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Do you find it difficult? There's some place that you wish you can go, but they're not wheelchair accessible out in the public.
Yeah, actually, there's a Audubon trail near me,
Yeah,
and it's not accessible yet.
yeah. So that that's something you probably wish they would deal more, make trails that are more accessible to wheelchairs.
Yeah, it's like down the road from me, and I can't go. So that's frustrating.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, because you can probably get a lot of good pictures too from that.
Yeah.
And
I also like other trails too that we can go on.
yeah, especially I'm not sure what kind of wheelchair you have, but I know there's different wheelchairs with different wheels on it. But sometimes if the trails are not wide enough or not cut to the same, well, the branches or whatever, it can be very difficult.
If there's like rocks all over the place, or just like roots. So if they have them, we don't go.
Yeah, yeah. That I didn't think about that. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I go hiking and all that. I like doing that, and yeah, there's a lot of trails out there that are not accessible to
Yeah.
wheelchairs or any handicapped people in general. Wow.
Yeah. Not a lot of people think that.
That's definitely something to bring awareness to.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. One of the things all common you said is have like accommodations, and you find ways to you find tools to help you navigate and be successful in life, which is great. And I think it's not just like people with disabilities do that. It's like everyone, no matter who you are, what you have, find ways to navigate and help them become successful and do what they need to do. And that's just great. And that's what I think everyone needs to understand. Like, no matter if you have a disability or not, you need to walk with people and be patient too with them. So, all three of you have businesses. What What do you like about owning your own business?
I like the fact that it gives me a lot of autonomy. I like the fact that I can, make my own schedule. Very flexible, especially with the stuff I'm doing now. It gives me a sense of pride in my work since we do all make our stuff all handmade. So, you're there making the product, you're there managing the product, and there's a lot more pride in it than if you were like working at McDonald's and you're just making a burger and stuff like that. Well,
Mm,
we usually get the stuff and make it from scratch. So, well, not the ingredients, but like generally composing it together, pouring the candles because we do candles and stuff like that. And
yeah,
we also get to go out into the community. We get to build a lot of. I think it's really helped. What really helped my sort of social skills was going out into the community. We do a lot of vendor shows, and we like to build a lot of like really connections with other vendors and other people, and especially a lot of disabled people. And now working for the Disability Bureau has definitely also given me a lot new perspectives and stuff like that.
hmm
When it what else? I also like the fact that it's a family business, so it's nice to work with my mom. She's really sweet, and I really like the
mm,
fact that uh, it's a really nice thing to fall back on. You don't really have to answer to a boss. You're very autonomous in the decisions you make. Of course, it's a family
yeah,
business, so we constantly argue on what we should do next and stuff like that. But
yeah,
you have a lot more. I have a lot more say in like a family business and being a co-owner than
right,
like if I was working at McDonald's, for instance, where you have to answer to a
yeah.
boss.
That is a nice benefit. You get to have more say, and you get to answer to yourself.
Yeah, more autonomy.
Yeah, yeah, awesome.
What I love about it is since I have disabling mental health issues, I have days where I can't function at all. And I can't even like sit and craft or do anything with my business. And I have the flexibility to be kind to myself and give myself the grace to have those days where I just can't do anything. But at the same token, it's also given me the ability to push myself and like set goals and challenges that I can realistically meet and grow in my mental health and get better at doing things that are hard and challenging. For instance, this podcast, like I feel like a wreck inside, but I look like cool as a cucumber, totally calm, conversationally. People are like, oh, you're fine. You look fine. I'm like, actually, I'm a mess right now. Like I'm wicked anxious. I'm wicked nervous. I call it my little villagers. Be like, my little villagers inside. They're in chaos. The huts are on fire. Everyone's screaming and like, what? So it
like,
gives me the
what's that-
opportunity to
what's
like
that movie?
challenge myself.
With,
I'm sorry.
There's a movie, Inside Out. Have you seen Inside Out? It's a Pixar movie. With the little
It's
people
totally it's totally like Inside Out.
Yeah.
Was it the purple guy, the nervous one?
Yeah.
I have a bunch of him just running around chaotically inside me.
Yeah. No, well, at least, Noelle, you are doing awesome. You're doing great.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And it also gives me a sense of purpose too.
Yeah.
Having something to do that isn't a 9-to-5 job, but is me and my ability to express myself and my art and give me an opportunity to help other people who are in the same position as me, dealing with the same issues as me. That's another thing I love about it. So it's the best decision I made. So happy I decided to pursue it. And I'm living my best life right now.
Awesome.
As someone with a disability, I know how important it is to advocate for myself and others. What I love about the work I do now, I love that I'm able to make a difference. I know that I'm changing the way people see disability in our society, and I know that I'm making our society better for people with disabilities who are coming down the road.
Yes. Yep. I like that. Yeah. Making the community better for people
Absolutely.
with disabilities. That's awesome.
Being a trailblazer, Rachel.
Yep.
I don't like have to get up early to go out to work. I'm not sure.
Yeah. You put do you like being like your own boss, kind of like make your own schedule,
Yeah.
choosing when to go in, when to walk, and like what kind of pictures you want to take and stuff. Nice.
Yeah, and like where and when I want to go out.
Yeah, that's always nice. Have that flexibility, make your own schedule. The one thing I see a common with everyone, and on this interview and the one we did in part one, is all like being able the flexibility, and if you can't walk that day, or you're having that day's not good, whatever, you don't have to walk. You can take a day off or take a few hours off and then come back to it. And everyone likes that flexibility and being your own boss too.
Absolutely.
So how does owning a business make you feel?
Makes me feel great. It gives me a sense of pride. It gives me a sense that like I'm going out into the world, I'm doing something, because we do a lot of cool stuff with disability with our business. We go to a lot of shows. We advocate for small businesses, and a lot of it, we also do a lot of, especially me with the Small Business Bureau. We do a lot of disability advocacy, it's just really nice to like, see that finished product going out and people loving it and stuff like that. It gives you a really good sense of accomplishment, I feel. And I know this kind of overlaps with why do you like being a small business owner, but I feel like a bunch of other people can relate that, with being a small business owner, you have a connection to like what you do that you probably don't have when you're working at McDonald's. I keep using the McDonald's example. I not to be rude to anyone who works at McDonald's, but yeah.
Well, I used to be a Burger King manager, and there's no offense taken at all.
There is a sense of pride in what you do. I know, especially for me, having a podcast, I love doing it, and it's something I enjoy. And when I first got started, it was a hobby, and just to play around with it. And then I'm like, I need to make this into a business. I need to grow this. And now I get to talk with so many different people, like you guys.
Lucky you. Well, I'd say what it makes me feel is absolute freedom. I feel free as a bird. I can just be me. I can do what I love, and I can do it on my schedule as best as possible. I mean, of course, my issues will sometimes define the schedule and not meet the schedule I want, ideally, but essentially, I can do it in my time, and I love that freedom. It lifts a bit of the stress, and anything I can do to alleviate any stress or anxiety, I am 100% for. So that's one of the reasons I just love it, and I don't think I'll ever go back.
Okay, I love being able to tell people that I own my own business. People say, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I own my own business. I do this, and that, and here's how I can help you. I also, so, I'm in a unique situation where I have my own business, but I also have a job on the side. In addition to it, I did get a new job that month at Main Street, where I am the Special Education Awareness Advisor. So, really, I get to do what I love, no matter where I'm at. So if I'm doing training at work, or I'm doing training at home, either way, I get to do training, and I get to do what I love. And it will be out of my business. It will be because of my business that I got the job at Music Street. So you say you love being your own boss. I love having the best of both
Awesome.
worlds.
Yeah. And sometimes when you have your own business, it opens up new opportunities. Or we say open up new doors too. And you
Absolutely.
get to meet awesome people too.
Yeah.
Like all of you.
Yeah, everyone I've heard so far has had some very unique and nice things to say, and
It's true.
I've learned a lot new things as well. So
True.
I'm really glad to hear all of you and your experiences.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Feelings mutual.
Do people treat you differently now that you are a business owner?
I mean, it depends on the place. I mean, if in just like in public and stuff like that, people don't know I'm a small business owner, then it's not really that different. But if in places where I'm out in a professional setting, or I'm advertising my business, or they know I have a business, they definitely ask me a lot of questions about my business. I feel like being a business owner definitely gave me a lot more connections that I would have otherwise, and overall, a lot of people tend to appreciate the work you do and stuff like that. I feel like not everyone, but definitely a lot of people really like our products. It's really nice to see people like our products, and Yeah, being the face of a business is also really nice because people like to hear your experiences as well, and you get to do a lot of advocacy on that ground. And feel like overall, I've definitely owning the small businesses have helped me get my voice out farther, especially with like advocacy and stuff like that.
I wouldn't say people have treated me different since I became a business owner. I'd say when people hear about my disabilities, especially with the mental health issues, that's when they start to treat me differently, which is unfortunate because there is a lot of stigma behind mental health issues, which I am trying to break through my business and open up difficult and challenging discussions with my art. Um, that's something I definitely want to address. So that's the only issue I've had is when I open up about certain things, there's a lot of judgment. But it's not always. Sometimes I've gotten wonderful responses and people have even said, "Oh wow, your story is inspiring." And I'm like, "Wow." Okay, well, it didn't feel inspiring while it was happening to me, but I'm glad to hear that I've inspired you. So I'm getting more brave about sharing my story and my experiences with people and not being so nervous about how they could judge me. So that's something that my business has given me an opportunity to do, which I'm very grateful for. But when people find out I'm a small business owner, they're like, "Oh, okay, cool." I mean, there isn't much, there isn't a big, I don't know, big to do about it. They're not like responding any differently to me. So that's been my experience anyway.
Some people, yeah, some people are like that, but other people are like, oh, that is so cool. What is your business? What do you do? How do we work together? I think it depends who
Yeah,
you're talking
Yep.
to.
yeah, because it's going to be different for a lot of different people depending on the situation. It's definitely been different for me depending on who I'm talking to. It also depends what you bring up and stuff as well. So, but overall, I'm so glad that like things have been positive for me overall, and I hope they're all positive for you. There definitely is like a stigma revolving around a lot of this stuff, which is unfortunate, and a lot of like misinformation based on mental health and stuff like that. A lot of people don't know what the words mean. God, how many times people throw around the word autistic, basically meaning, oh, you're very interested in something? It's just, yeah. But I overall think like people tend to respond positively hearing the experiences of people and tend to relate more when get their stories out about mental illness. If they hear about people, they tend to be more sympathetic and stuff like that.
True. Yeah, absolutely. All good points.
I don't think so.
No, same. That's good. Do you do people treat you any differently from like with someone without a disability?
I don't think so.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Do any of you have anything you like to say?
All that I want to say is thank you so much. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come and talk about all this stuff. I think it's very important that people are educated on uh, uh, mental differences. But I don't want to call them disabilities because they're really just like I've heard the term neurodivergent and stuff like that. They're just really different abilities. And while they definitely do are important, since a lot of the times they can affect you and challenge you, I don't think I also think they also open up unique ways of thinking. I think, like Elise said, like there's a plenty of God knows how many creative people have have kind of been informed by their different way of thinking and stuff like that. Because I know definitely with Asperger's syndrome, on the one hand, you tend to be hyperfixated and easily overwhelmed and not that social. But on the other hand, you're very focused on things. I feel like you definitely once you get an interest, you're really into that interest, and you can like perfect it almost in a sense. And Yeah, I feel like that, and definitely same lines of thinking that might not get me best in social situations might make me do something a lot better than help me make candles that are like super well made and like every detail's accounted for.
Yes. And thank you for agreeing to be on the podcast too.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this and bring awareness on Developmental Disabilities Month and just talk about my experience and hear other people's experience is absolutely wonderful. I think we need to have more of this out in the world for people to listen and hear stories and learn and maybe even relate and be more open-minded to people who are neurodivergent, as Jack said. Also, I'd want to say that anyone who has any kind of issue or disability, that you should not worry too much about the risks, and if there's something you really want to try that you're passionate about, go for it. If you want to open your own business, go for it, and just power through. Turn towards your loved ones and your support system to help you through, and I think you're gonna find that you can accomplish more than you ever thought you could, and you're gonna open up a space for more people to do it. Just like Rachel said, she's a trailblazer, and that you're just part of it. You're part of changing society's view on things and how people, though we're different, we're awesome and capable and adding something good to everyday life. So that'd be the last thing I'd want to say, I think, to other people like us who have different issues and different struggles and different hurdles to go over every day.
But first of all, I want to thank you for having me. This was an incredible opportunity and a really good conversation. I really don't have anything else. Just please continue to change the way disability is seen in society, and if you know anyone that wants disability training, please contact me first. Thank you again, Nathan.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you all. We had a great conversation. Where can people find you and learn more about your business?
So for us, we have a website, mrcsense.com, and I could, if there's a chat, I could possibly type the URL in.
Yep, you can.
Sure thing.
Yep.
But we also have a Facebook and Instagram page. It's the Mr. C Sense as well. And we also do vendor shows where we constantly show up into the community and talk with people and stuff like that. So Facebook, Instagram, and yeah.
You can find Mini Masterpiece accessories and more at the @ symbol at Mini Masterpiece Shop on Facebook, TikTok, Etsy, and Instagram. And if you see anything on my page that you like, you can message me to shop that way, or see what events I have coming up. You can shop at any of the craft shows. And you can also, if you're interested, ask for me to host a jewelry party for you. I can come to your place of business and have you shop my items along with your coworkers, or we could go to your house and have a jewelry party where all your friends and family can come, and you can make refreshments and have a good old time shopping my items and my jewelry. And of course, there's always custom orders. So if there's anything you have in mind, you can just message me on any of those platforms. You can also email me, minimasterpieceshop@gmail.com. That's always a great way to reach me as well. So hopefully I'll hear from you.
If you want to book a training with me or just talk, you can email me at raferrero44@gmail.com.
I have a Facebook page.
What's your Facebook page?
Kathy Goodmanson Photography.
And your Facebook page is where you post about your photos and where you're going to be at to like different events and marketplaces.
Yeah.
Awesome. And thank you all again for joining me on this podcast. And also I want to thank all the listeners for listening and tuning in to the Nathan Markley Show.